You ever wake up to the sound of gravel crunching in your own vineyard thinking it's just birds or the neighbor's dog, only to find two grown men in knockoff uniforms waving around fake badges and acting like they own the place? Yeah, that was my Tuesday. Sun wasn't even up yet, but my little slice of wine country paradise was already crawling with wannabe cops. Their boots stomped all over my prized Pinot vines, and for a second I wondered if this was some kind of joke or the start of a really bad dream. But no, this was real. Kevin Thompson, stocky, red-faced, crammed into a uniform that screamed discount Halloween store, barked at me like he had the power of the state behind him. Your property borders our community. That gives us jurisdiction. Hand twitching near a gun that looked like a plastic toy. His partner, Dave, just looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. The patches on their arms read Sunset Hills HOA Police Department Volunteer Division, and if you're picturing a shield logo drawn by a kid, you're not far off. Dave had a walkie-talkie clipped to his belt, probably borrowed from his kid's Nerf set. Now, I'm not a man who scares easy. I've spent years in cybersecurity. So I did what any sensible person would do, stepped outside, phone in my pocket, voice steady, and said, "I'm Robert Mitchell, and you gentlemen are trespassing on private property." Kevin puffed up. "Deputy Chief Kevin Thompson, Sunset Hills HOA Police Department. We're conducting an inspection. Your property borders our jurisdiction, so we have a legal right to investigate potential violations." You could tell he'd practiced the line in his bathroom mirror, probably more than once. I let him get through his script, then laid it out clear. "Kevin, listen carefully. 1, I'm not a member of your HOA. Never signed a thing. 2, you're not a police officer. 3, you're currently committing several crimes, starting with trespassing." Dave shot a panicked look at Kevin, but the guy just doubled down, spouting off about a Community Safety Act that, according to him, let the HOA police watch anyone they wanted. I started recording on my phone just to have a little insurance. What statute number is that, Kevin? Which legislature passed this law giving HOA volunteers police powers over non-members? He stuttered, then tried to bluff. "We don't need to justify our authority." Then it got wild. Kevin starts talking about drone surveillance over my vineyard, monitoring my wireless network, documenting suspicious activity. So I looked him straight in the eye. "You just confessed to conducting illegal surveillance without a warrant. You're documenting your own federal crimes, my friend." Dave turned white as a sheet, but Kevin was too deep in his little cosplay to back down. "We have reports of suspicious packages, unusual traffic, possible code violations. The HOA Police Department has a responsibility to investigate." I kept pushing. "Show me your real law enforcement credentials, your ID, your commission. Give me the number for your commanding officer." All I got back was more circular nonsense. "Our authority derives from the community we serve." Dave muttered. Maybe we should call the main office, but Kevin snapped at him, running the show. The more I pressed, the more Kevin's hand crept toward his gun, breath coming fast. "Here's what's going to happen," he said, real quiet. "The HOA Police Department will continue its investigation with or without your cooperation. We have protocols for uncooperative adjacent property owners." The threat just hung there cold and heavy. That's when I decided to end the show. "Kevin, think very carefully about your next move, because what happens next determines if you walk away or get carried." There was a long silence, just the hum of distant traffic and the wind in the vines. Then finally, survival instinct won out. Kevin stepped back, jaw clenched. "This investigation isn't over. We'll be monitoring the situation very closely." He and Dave got in their car, a regular old sedan with a magnetic decal stuck to the side, and drove off. But I knew it wasn't over. This wasn't just a one-off. This was an organized intimidation campaign, using fake law enforcement trappings to harass property owners. And I had to ask, why? What did Sunset Hills HOA want badly enough to risk serious jail time? Next day, the drone showed up, professional model, high-res camera, thermal imaging, and that same silly HOA PD logo as their uniforms. It did a full grid over my land twice a day, every day like clockwork. By day 3, I'd mapped their entire flight schedule. Someone knew what they were doing. This wasn't just nosy neighbors. This was surveillance with a plan. Day 4, I saw signs of hacking, someone probing my wireless, hitting my smart home devices, even trying to break into my security cameras. The attack came from Kevin's home IP address. They got lucky on day 5. A bug in my smart thermostat gave them a 17-minute window into my network. Just enough to map out my devices and drop some malware in 3 of them. They were watching me from the inside now, tracking my schedule, listening in on my smart speakers, cataloging my daily routine. It felt dirty, invasive in a way I didn't expect. The following morning, a courier dropped off a letter, urgent HOA Police Department. Professional letterhead, embossed seal, and Kevin's signature as Deputy Chief, Cybersecurity Division. The document cited laws that didn't exist, demanded access to my wireless network, listed fake officers and bogus job titles. The whole thing would have been hilarious if it wasn't so serious. I did some digging. Travis Williams, chief of police, turned out to be the HOA president, former municipal bureaucrat with a trail of questionable exits from government jobs in 3 states. Now he'd created a fantasy law enforcement agency with a whole roster of fake officers and a chain of command. Then the emails started demands for community safety audits, requests for passwords, veiled threats if I didn't comply. Their radio chatter during drone flights sounded just like real police dispatch. Unit 1 commenced surveillance. They talked about ongoing investigations and subjects under observation. This was a full-blown intelligence operation, not amateur hour anymore. A week in, I intercepted a radio conversation. Subject Mitchell continues non-compliance with lawful orders. Recommend implementing pressure protocols as discussed. That's when the real intimidation ramped up. Motion sensors on my property line, hidden trail cameras in the trees, malware aimed at my phone and laptop, even attempts on my vehicle's connected systems. But here's the twist. This wasn't about safety. Travis Williams wanted my land for development. He wanted every non-HOA property gone by any means necessary. 7 families before me had already sold under pressure. 3 more were on the list. I was now classified as a high-resistance target. Williams ran the HOA like a mob boss, intimidation, psychological warfare, and phony legal threats, all to clear the way for his pet projects. When the real police finally got involved, after I'd recorded hours of confessions and collected every piece of evidence, the dominoes fell fast. Kevin Thompson was caught tampering with planted evidence, nothing but flour and itching powder, but he didn't know that, all recorded by my security cams and a waiting sheriff's deputy. He went from fake cop to real felon in under a minute. Neighbors who'd believed the HOA police were real finally saw the truth. The stories came pouring out, intimidation threats manipulated into spying on each other. Sunset Hills was exposed as ground zero for one of the most bizarre criminal conspiracies you could imagine. Travis Williams was arrested while trying to broker land deals. Dave and the rest of his officers taken down the same day. The FBI raided the community center, found the command center, seized every document, every fake badge, every dollar misappropriated. In court, the evidence was overwhelming. Williams pled guilty to conspiracy, fraud, impersonating law enforcement, and racketeering. 5 years in prison, $500,000 in restitution, banned for life from any HOA involvement. Kevin got 3 years. The rest were banned from law enforcement for life. The class action suit from all the families pushed the judgment to over $7 million, with every asset of the HOA liquidated to pay the victims. But the best part, we turned this mess into something positive. The Freedom from Fake Police Festival became an annual event at my Vineyard. Families who'd lost their homes were compensated. New state laws passed, making it a felony to create fake police agencies in property disputes. Williams' name became shorthand for everything wrong with HOA power gone wild. And the neighbors who once doubted me now stood shoulder to shoulder, vowing never again to let fear or fake authority tear apart a community. So here's my question for you. What would you do if someone showed up at your door, fake badge in hand, demanding control over your life and property? Would you stand your ground or give in? Justice isn't something that just happens. It's something you fight for. One recorded conversation, One piece of evidence, one neighbor at a time. If you've ever tangled with an HOA, share your story below. Let's make sure no one ever has to face this kind of insanity alone. And remember, sometimes all it takes to bring down a criminal empire is one stubborn vineyard owner who refuses to be bullied.